Hello, good evening and welcome to Flux Motorsport TV. You're right, it's that time again. It's just gone 8 o'clock, it's Thursday evening and you're here with Lecky_2000 bringing you the GT1 Championship. Currently we're just taking a little look at Murphy in what looks to be a very, very cloudy sky at Indianapolis road course. So this time the guys taking to the Americas and what is a bitterly cold track here at Indy road course. Tyres going to be playing a major part here with the weather conditions today, but a marked improvement on last week from what we saw over at Portimao with all that wet weather and essentially what was an out-and-out wet race with the guys. So I think one or two of the guys will be happy really here to not be out on the wet track. But that doesn't mean that grip's going to be abundant nevertheless. So like I said, we just joined us for the GT1 Championship. We come off the back of our Touring Car Championship, which was exceedingly eventful, which I'll bring you a little bit more information about a little bit later on. But just coming over to our standings for the GT1 Championship, just whilst we're in our qualifying session here, just whilst we are getting things underway. Last week, taking a look at our standings, we had usual suspect Linga Bazinga, who is last year's champion, currently sitting in top spot with 37 points. Bazinga getting the fastest lap by a long way around Portimao circuit. Linga Bazinga will be looking to extend that lead again here. In second place, taking a look at our leaderboards, we have Lil God, or Stee as we know him inside the community. Stee, a new entrant into the GT1 Championship, relatively speaking, and currently sitting in second place with 30 points. Stee as we know by the panels. In third place we have Immortalis with 27 points. And coming up just behind him, the first Dutch driver, Gelman, with 25 points in fourth spot. Murphy, we've just seen on track there in his silver Mercedes in fifth spot with 23. Snelling Bongo then follows up behind him in sixth spot. TC Thrasher in seventh, with Jack de Menzies in eighth place. Pro Clubbit in ninth. Dirk Diggler in 10th. Ben Balakman in 11th, who won't be with us this evening. And we have Merlin taking his place. Coming up just behind him is Best Gamer in 12th, then Destroyer in 13th, with Blankfile and Giacomo leading up the back of the grid in 14th and 15th spots. Okay, so just coming out on track, Destroyer just taking a aggressive manoeuvre there in the pit lane just to try and get the tyres warmed up. Like I said, the tyres really going to be an issue here at the Indy Road circuit. The guys really pushing in the Mercedes. Mercedes looking like it potentially could be much quicker around here than any of the other guys, potentially because the amount of equipment it can retain in its tyres at cold temperatures. So 118's currently being sat on track, but I do expect those to come down just a little bit, potentially into the 117s as Destroyer going extremely sideways. They're near enough on the straight, so you can see exactly what we mean in terms of a lack of grip here. You see Dirk Diggler just getting a little squirrely there, again struggling for grip, just coming through the chicane section onto this back straight here. That Panos does have a lot of power and an awful lot of grip in a hot situation, but because of the way that car's weighted, does struggle here. Indy Road does want the front end to scoot out quite a bit. As you can see it there, just getting a little squirrely. Dirk Diggler is going to be struggling in that car until he gets the tyres warm, as he does leave the circuit there. So a couple of the guys struggling here in qualifying. of our guys looking for a good performance here today is Pro Fubby. Speaking to Pro Fubby before the race, I know he's been putting quite a bit of practice in at this track, as has Little God. Both these guys putting in low lap times. I think, like I said, the Mercedes is possibly just going to be able to edge in front just a little bit. Currently 117 is being set by Linga Bizinga, as we did expect to see Linga Bizinga start to come through as we come into the second part of our qualifying session. We've still got over 11 minutes to go in this session, so a couple of guys yet still come out to set laps. Mark not set a lap, TT Thrash is still not set a lap, but most of the guys have started to at least filter their way out and do a cold lap now. A couple of the guys will want to start thinking about getting their setup sorted and out onto the track. Just take a look at our current timings. So Linga Bizinga with a 117.7, Snell and Bongo with a 118.1, and Little God with a 181. So Snell and Bongo just setting a pretty quick lap time the last time round there. We're just on board with Fubby here as Fubby comes through the S section. It looks like we've got some track limits being breached as well by our new driver Merlin, so whether he's struggling there in that green and gold livery. CLK, we'll switch back over to him in just a moment so we can get just an eyeball on how he's coping in his first race in the GT1s. Just stay on board with Fubby here for just a moment, just see if we can come through this long right hand section into this what is a banked flattening right hander. Very tempting to get the rubbers on the inside there and over-rotate the car. He takes that without issue, without a glitch. Again, another corner where the rubbers really play havoc with the car. Managing to keep the front end here. Under a 120.8 we're looking for Fubby, which he does. 120.097 as he comes across that line. And Merlin now currently setting a 6th place lap time, 6th in our grid at this stage during qualifying. It looks like he's getting the hang of that there. A couple of track limit breaches I think as he moves over, so not on a hot lap there. That's one of our Toyotas through, which could be, I believe it is Jack Demendes. So Jack, as you know, long-standing member in our GT1 Championship. Jack Weller, proficient with motorsports, had been in and around motorsports for a long time, a journalist and an F1 reporter for several large newspapers in the UK. So most definitely familiar with this type of scenario. Like I said, tried and tested driver in GT1s, and was very, very close to winning the championship last season. Currently Jack has got in total 15 points in this championship. Like I said, that currently leaves him in a roundabout 8th place. Jack has got some work to do, and it looks like potentially we have lost a driver from the session, so it looks like Murphy has had a couple of issues and will need to try and get back into the session and re-enter the session there, so hoping that he doesn't have too many issues, he can get back in on time, enough to set a lap in. But we'll stay on board with Immortalis here. Immortalis currently vying with Linga Bizinga for the top spot, a 118 dead there from Immortalis, so second fastest lap currently on our grid at the moment, in that blue and white zipping on livery. I think that is just Merlin that you saw just coming through the S section before him, so whether Merlin is on a hot lap or not, time will tell. Wheels being out on track for these guys, if they are both on a hot lap with both the lights on, then it is the driver that is behind that needs to slow and essentially allow the driver in front to complete his hot lap. It looks like that Mercedes just coming into the, just getting out of the way, they're just coming into pit road just to manoeuvre out of the way to let Immortalis see if he can push, so See as he comes across the timing line here. Yeah, there is an improvement. Quite a hefty improvement. So a good couple of cents there from Immortalis. And that puts him just shy of Linda Bazinga. He's still out on track. Stallion Bongo is yet to reply to this, so 118.1, I'm not quite sure where that is. Just on the exit of the pit entrance there. And on board with Green Gaming as Murphy comes back into the session here, so it looks like Green Gaming just coming past Immortalis, potentially with Jack Mendes in front of him. Green Gaming did not have a great rest last time out. Scored just the 1 point. Sorry, just 5 points from the last race. So he's going to be looking to try and make an improvement here as he lets Immortalis through. See a quick flash of the lights there as Immortalis thanks him for that. 27 seconds or so off the. 20 seconds or so off the lap time at this stage. Going to try and have to pull that in if he wants to remain competitive in this championship. Green Gaming currently racing in all 7 championships here at Flux Motorsport, so certainly getting well involved in the racing action. I mentioned him a couple of times, but here he is, little Godstee in the Silver Panels Esperanti there. So again, not the best looking car. We do mention this quite a bit, but it's not the best looking car on track, that Panels. According to some. However, Steve has managed to get that car well behaved, has spent a lot of time around here, spent a good day at least practicing just getting the best out of the panels. Bit of rearward braking might help around here with that car, with just how it's set up. So Steve comes to the last section here. We'll stick with Steve just to see what he can do in terms of lap time. 1:18. He was doing a little bit better than that in some of the run-ups to this race. Track conditions won't have been exactly the same as he comes across the line now. So no improvement there for Steve. Blank file we've got in the panels as well. So blank file just making a switch, I believe. I think last time we saw him out, he was in the Nissan livery. So he went and opted for the Nissan. Not many guys do that. But this week we've got him out in the panel, so that'll be a car change, I'm guessing, for blank file this time round. Guys do get 1 free car change throughout the championship. However, after that it does start to deduct points from their championship season should they need to make any changes going forward. So that will be the one and only one, I believe, for blank file. Currently sat in 5th on the grid with a 1:18.5, so certainly in with a shout of getting a good finish here, if not a podium. 1:18.1, so 4/10 quicker that time round from blank file. John, the third of our Dutch trio here on our grid, currently in 6th spot, really pushing it into the S section as he comes out. And John normally looking to put in a decent qualifying time, but tends to be more consistent during the race and a better performance during the race than he does sometimes in qualifying. Well, not always indicative of where he's going to end up, John, but certainly not putting bad lap times in here with 1:18.5s again. Within a second or so from our leaders, but no improvement there. And Murphy making it back into the session, so, but not looking like he's doing any great use to the inside of that track as he takes up a little bit of the dirt, a little bit of the grass. So we've got one of the Toyotas coming up close behind him now. Both Toyotas, so it looks like we've got Green Gaming and Jack again out on track together, so not leaving each other alone today. Gruesome twosome, 28 and 29. And it looks like all guys have set a lap now as Jack just flashes to pass Green Gaming on the inside, which Green Gaming does, takes a deliberate wide berth there in order to let Jack through. Very etiquette there in qualifying. And Giacomo, another driver in a panel, so the panel's been a much more preferred car this season than it was last season. Giacomo did not have a great outing last time round, and he will be making to look big improvements here today, so we'll just get you a quick look at Giacomo's points. Currently only 2 points on our grid and a 15th spot last race, so there's not a lot worse that you can do this time round other than come last. You certainly won't be hoping to do that today. Looks like he's doing better with a very reasonable 119. Again, a lot of the drivers not necessarily qualifying or time trial hot lap drivers, as you might call them. Some of the guys much better with a driver either side of them and just trying to get their elbows out. But Giacomo currently sat in 9th place. If you are just joining us here, welcome to Flux Motorsport TV, joining us for the last part of our qualifying session as the seconds just tick down here now for our GT1 Championship. We're at race 2 at Indy Road Course for season 1 of 2021, and currently we have Linga Bazinga that looks like he's going to top the grid in pole position yet again, as we have the notification from our race director that the session is now complete, so the guys will get to put just the end of this lap in, the guys that are still out on track, which is Pro Phobie, Survivor, Merlin, Blankfowl, Jelma and Immortalis are all still yet to come across the line, so we'll keep an eye out on any improvements here as they come across the line. As they come through into the back section. No change on the board as we speak. These guys look like they're still pushing at the moment. Pro Phobie is known for a decent lap time in right towards the end of qualifying as he comes across the line here. Not too much improvement that time though. So that's it for our qualifying session. Our fastest on our grid is currently Linga Bazinga, as we've come to expect, followed up by Snelling Bongo, the second Dutchman, in 2nd place, but not a 1-2-3 trio with the Dutch this time round, with Immortalis splitting Snelling Bongo and Jelma, or Martin 65 as you can see him on our grid, followed up with Blankfile just behind Jelma in 5th place, and Little God for making up 3rd row on the grid. 7th and 8th, Merlin and Destroyer, or Totenkopf as you can see him here. Just behind that we have Giacomo and Survivor for 9th and 10th spot. Murphy and Jack de Menezes, 2 staff members, coming in just behind that with 11th and 12th. Pro Phobie and Dirk Diggler in 13th and 14th, and Green Gaming and TC Thrasher, 2 chaps from across the pond, in 15th and 16th place. So we'll just make our way through to the grid as the guys just make the final adjustments here to their setups. Just make sure they've got the correct tyres, fuel, and all the correct buttons configured on the wheels and whatnot that they need for doing this 45-minute session. Like I said, if you are just joining us, make sure you do hit the like and subscribe buttons. Make sure that you hit the bell notifications as well to get notified of any of our videos if you do like what we do. Like I said, we've got more action and more racing. We've just come from the previous touring cars on Tuesday night. A look forward, we have got on Friday the GTE Championship and LMP2s just after that on Saturday, and more of championships yet to come, which we'll get to a little bit later on. Recent news that we've got in the background is that Flux Motorsport is just about to get underway with launching their first online store. You'll be able to get all your Flux merchandise, maybe even your Flux Corona COVID-19 related mask, but we'll keep you posted on that next time. So just as the guys get set up underway here, track conditions are expected to stay dry here for this race here at Indy Road Course. I'm not expecting any any uneventful weather. However, it is going to remain quite cold, and we're not expecting the track to jump up more than it is. Indy road course getting relatively ice-ridden and bitterly cold this time of year. So lucky that they've not got ice on the track, but certainly not the best for shredding tyres. Okay, so as the lights come on here, the guy's just about to get ready and get underway, and the lights are coming on as they are go, and he's like eMotorsports just stepping out there, so it looks like a good start from eMotorsports. As he does, he gets round Linga Bazinga dropping back to third place, and it looks like we're going 3 wide for fourth as they come into turn 1. Snelling Bongo makes a move down the inside and pushes eMotorsports to the outside, but that does mean eMotorsports is going to come back for the inside for turn 2, and Linga Bazinga just dropping, slotting in behind that action in turn 3. Jelma sticking in 4th place, and Black Pile just nipping up there in 5th, getting in front of Little God. Merlin sticking in 7th place, and it's door-to-door action here for 2nd place. Linga Bazinga getting just backing out of that one a little bit to allow eMotorsports to come through, as we've got huge action there with Steve just from 6th backward. Both Mercedes, 2 green Mercedes, side by side coming into that corner. That's only going to end badly, I think, and I believe we have had contact there in that corner. So 3 or 4 wide in there, it started, you can see just the entire grid now just starting to pass 1 or 2 drivers, so you can see what that means when 2 of the drivers make contact here. The rest of the grid just starts to pass you, and it looks like Green Gaming, Little God managing to come through there. Merlin just dropping back a little bit, and Destroyer dropping back a little. We'll go back over to action with our leaders, and even more action up front. Linga Bazinga getting a little bit squirrely there, just coming through the last chicane section onto the pit straight. All out action in lap 1 as they come across the line. So quick rundown for lap 1. Snelling Bongo in first, eMotorsports in 2nd place. Black Fowler has made it all the way up to 3rd, with Linga Bazinga dropping back down to 4th spot. Crowfobic comes up in 5th spot. Is that Little God Steve in the background? I think it is. Total off on Merlin, and Survivor just behind that, and Survivor putting a move on him into that turn, not making it stick. I think Survivor's just gone round there. He's had to drop back. It's not gone all the way to Indy, but he has had to drop back. Survivor dropping back to 8th place, and Linga Bazinga, each time we come to it, he seems to be facing almost the wrong direction. He's going to be losing more spots in that grid now. So certainly not going to be happy with himself after that first couple of laps there, Linga Bazinga. He's all the way back down in 6th place and currently being chased by a reserve driver, which is Merlin. So Merlin will be looking to really put the moves in there and see if he can get Linga Bazinga behind him. That'll really boost his confidence, and want him to get the next reserve seat that becomes available into GT1s. As we know, the guys here do accrue points if they are a reserve driver. It stays with them throughout the championship, and they ever do make a permanent seat, then the points stick with them. Just going back over to our leaders, Snarling Bongo currently remains in 1st place coming into lap 3. A couple of seconds behind him on eMotorsports, so the first couple of guys just getting a little bit of a breathing space from the rest of the grid now. Fubby made it up to 4th place, so Fubby making probably the most gains so far out the kerfuffle that came out at the beginning of lap 2. Fubby all the way up to 4th spot, 7 seconds behind the leader, and just behind him Lil God looks like he's being caught by Linga Bazinga there, so Linga Bazinga not managing to damage the car by the looks of it if he is catching steam in front. So potentially just a couple of mistakes there. The nerves getting the better of him. A little bit of pressure just coming into this track. A lot of the guys not really liking this track. Not a preferred track for a lot of drivers. Particularly flat track and very weird with camber. Requires a very unique setup. A couple of the guys are going to be struggling already, I think, with the tyres. The tyres are going to get eaten up here. So just take a look at this trio. So this is a battle for 4th spot that we're watching. Pro Fubby, Blue God and Linga Bazinga. and it looks like Fubby's gone round, so just as they come through that section, just round turn 1, it looks like Pro Fubby's pushed it a little bit hard going into turn 1, which is more than easy to do around here, and Pro Fubby looks like he's just lost the back of that car though. That's allowed Linga Bazinga to try and make a little bit of space up, but he's got a big gap to climb now. He's 10 seconds behind the leaders. Going a bit further down now, we've got a battle for 10th place between Dirt Diggler and Murphy. So Dirt Diggler we saw as high up as 2nd place in the in race 1, but he did drop down the order a little bit as we saw his tyres wear out. Dirt Diggler, the only guy from the last race not making a pit stop. So we'll see whether pit stops are in order here as Murphy shoots down the inside and almost loses it on the braking there. Really gets squirrely under the braking zone, but does make that stick. But Diggler trying to get the cut back and not able to get the nose through on the inside there. But having to overbrake there, which will allow Dirt to get the run on him now. See if we can use the power that's in that panos. Murphy looking like he's running a low airforce set, a low downforce setup there. Not a lot of aero on the car, such that allowing him to get away in the straights and not let the panos catch back up. Right, tasty battle for 10th place. Lil God and Linga Bazinga are still fighting it out. Can't bring you an awful lot of information on Little God because I don't believe we've got that much in terms of his driver profile. I can tell you that he is a driver from the UK. And he's only entered into the GT1 Championships this season, the Championships, but so far good amount of points. He's got 2nd place so far, podium finish for Little God, and not too far back from the action here, so only 4 seconds in front to Blank File. We haven't seen an awful lot of this race, kept his nose fairly clean so far, but Little God is certainly being hounded here by Linga Bazinga for 4th spot. Just behind these two we've got Merlin and Martin, or Jelmer as we tend to call him, battling for 6th spot. Jelmer was putting in the quicker lap times on the previous lap as they come through. Finish lap 5 here, I believe this is for Jelmer and Merlin. And it does look like Torton Coffey's putting in slower lap times, but managing to stick it with Jelmer here. So great drive so far in this race for our reserve driver. And Murphy and Dirt Diggler just behind those as we see Jack getting squirrely there, so losing a little bit of traction on the Toyota just coming through the last turn. It does look like that last turn, but it's a very difficult turn for that Toyota with the 0 aero on the front of it. Have to get the car balanced just so Jack struggling there with the what looked like overdoing it on the camber, just not able to get the power down there. And Murphy hounding the back of Dirt Diggler, so Dirt Diggler and Murphy still going for it here. 9th and 10th, Murphy makes a manoeuvre into the same back straight, same corner again, but this time tries it on the outside. He can see if he can make it stick, and he does indeed. So this time Murphy around the outside, just showing Dirt that he can do it either way. He's not forced, he can swing both ways, as they say. Murphy still looking a little loose and light on the brakes there, running it very wide into the end of that turn as he comes through onto the bank section, onto what is the Indy Oval circuit, and straight back off again, back onto the Emerald circuit. Great lines there from Murphy, a little bit too much inside there, almost with Dirt behind him. And you can see Murphy just managing to stretch that distance out just a little bit there, but getting very wide himself there on the exit. Looks like that car's been set up for speed rather than it has been for aerodynamic grip. Closing up just in front, it looks like Linga Bazinga's got even more distance gained in front of Merlin, and Pro Fubby is now closing up onto the back of Merlin. Just leapfrogging Jelmer there just behind him. Jelmer dropping back into 8th spot, and a much worse lap time round from Jelmer. As we see that, is that TC Thrasher there just behind, just moving out of the way? I believe it was, so TC Thrasher just getting lapped there just to see it. Coming through the, onto lap, what is lap 8 now, for Snarling. Dirt Digger losing another spot there. Looks to Jack Demenzes. Jack Demenzes now coming through off the back of Murphy. Up through past Dirt Diggler into 10th spot, so Jack again making places up here. Trying to recover from that initial kerfuffle in going into lap 2. Back over with the battle for what is about 6th place here. And Gemma coming right up to the back of Bobby, so Gemma getting really close to these guys now. Not the most consistent drive out here today for Gemma, but certainly can put a decent lap in when he's pushing. 120 last time around for Gemma, not quite the 119 that the leaders are setting, but not a million miles off by any standards. So he comes through, he locks up there, just loses the front end a little bit. Manages to save it from over-rotating there, which is always a risk if we do lock up and run front end into that corner. Each time that the cars lock up, they are going to be pushing more and more heat into these tyres and scrubbing more and more rubber off the top end of them. Very cold out on track here, the guys got the tyre pressure set accordingly to try and adjust for that. That's going to create a lot of friction in these tyres. Will eventually end up with the tyres peeling. And a three-way battle again, all the way into lap 9, so all out action here. And is that Jack going around just in the background? I believe it is. That's Jack on the last turn. That Toyota just over-rotating. It comes off that bank section of the oval on there, and we've got contact there from Jelmer. Is that Jelmer and Fubby? I think it could well be. Fubby just losing out on that battle there, but potentially that will be a stewards inquiry. It looked door to door, but could have been more one than the other in that one. We'll have to go through the stewards inquiry, I think, for that bit of contact there. The race director will have been flapping up then and warning the guys for contact. She doesn't like it when she sees action just that hot on track. So potentially a slow down there for one of the guys, or just a warning. Over to Linger Bazinga. Looks like Linger's right up on the back of Stino, so Linger be getting past Blank File in 5th and taking that spot for 4th place. Blank File no slow cut today, you can see him just in the background. Doesn't like he's had a bit of a slower lap time that though, that lap round. As we see Linger going round again, so 3 or 4 laps just pushing a little bit too much for Linger, and that car's going round on him. So I think patience is the key for Linger Bazinga in this race. And that allows Blank File to shoot up into 4th, rocking around in his toad livery there. It does quite look like a toad, that car, doesn't it? Probably the beast. But she does sound great. I'll give her that, she sounds beautiful. So Blank File happy that he's up there with a shout at potentially a podium spot, but it's Steve that he's got to catch just in front. Couple of seconds in front of him. I don't see Steve making that many mistakes in this race. Potentially towards the end where tyres start to fade, you might see that panel starting to turn around as the front starts to lose it, and you've got to overcut and you've got a bit of snap back on the steering. I know Steve's been putting a lot of time testing it today, so he'll be lucky if he does catch him today, Black File. Just going over to Pro Fubby. It looks like Jelmer and Merlin in front. That's just the top of Merlin's car, you can see they've just got away a little bit, so Fubby not been unfamiliar with the odd spin today. Again, practice put in, but it looks like potentially just a couple of bits of contact there for Fubby. No, nothing too serious by the looks of it, but enough to make you drop a couple of positions, and like I said, just dropping that line, having to go hard over a lot. That's part of the track where it's marbly or you've got to scrub the tyres. It's really difficult around here. And Murphy just coming through in the background with, I believe that's T Thrasher that he's just overtaken there. With Jack Demens is just behind him. It is indeed. And Murphy and Jack still maintaining that gap between them, about 6 seconds. Looks like there's a little bit of damage from TC Thrasher's car there, so he might be nursing a little bit of damage. Potentially a pit stop might not be a bad shout. Some of the guys will be considering making pit stops anyway. But the other silver panels that we got out on track is Lil God, and he looks like he's closing up onto second place. He saw blank file. Doesn't look like he's losing that much time, so potentially both these cars catching iMotorsports up here. iMotorsports might now be starting to suffer from over 15 minutes gone of this session, a third of the way through, and as I say that, that literally is the curse of the commentator. He couldn't have been better timed, or worse timed, if that's the way you want to look at it. iMotorsports just a half spin there, or a quarter spin, and just sending the back of the car around a little bit, snatching it back again quite quickly though, and getting straight back on the power. But just enough to let Little God through, and that is Steve rubbing his hands together, and just a little flash of the lights there. That's the knowing nod from iMotorsports. Well done, sir, he says. Well done. Touché. I don't think he's done yet. iMotorsports will certainly try and put the fight back if he can. He will have the draft from Little God as he's going into the long straight just behind him here. It's whether he can get quite close enough. Flat out now as they come up through onto the bank section. There's no left up until you're the braking zone, and all the way down hard onto the brakes there. Panos usually does quite well through this section, struggles to get the power down just on the exit of the last corner. And a little bit of front end there, and a little bit of wall taking there from Steve, so maybe that'll let him Mortalis. Just allow him to catch up just a little bit. Just try and bring the split information in so you can see a little bit more of what the guys are doing out on track in relation to each other. The fastest lap being set is by Snarling Bongo, I believe, with a 118. So we'll keep an eye on that and bring you more on that as the race progresses. So far 118 is our fastest lap. The fastest lap, last lap being set by the guy on track now that you're watching, which is Little God with a 119.4. So a little bit off what the fastest laps are so far, and I think we're not going to see laps like that again up until potentially one or two guys choose to make a pit stop. We do have some action just being notified on track here, as we can see Survivor just closing up the back of TTV Giacomo, but it looks like they've just moved over to let what is a 6th and 7th through Jelma and Merman through, but right up until that point Survivor was just about to catch up the back of TTV Giacomo, and TTV Giacomo is going to be in the same position. In fact, as he goes round, that literally the commentator is a real bad luck charm today. I think the guys probably wish they weren't actually being commentated on as we speak. And as we say that, battles open up all over the field. We've got Murphy right coming up to the back of Giacomo, so that means Jack Demenzis has got him past Murphy at some point. So that looks like a unreported spin there from Murphy. But he's certainly right up to the back of Jack now. 8th and 9th, I think they came into this race in 9th and 10th, so can't separate these two at the moment in the championship. All on track it looks like. So the Toyota looks like it does have more speed through that section, but not as much as Jack would have hoped. Normally got a long set of legs on it, that Toyota. Murphy seems to have tweaked around with some air, or he's found a magic button in that Mercedes, and he's right up on the back end of Jack. So like I said, this is currently the battle for 8th place. We'll stick with this as he goes side by side. Jack just fending Murphy off here. Murphy getting a slightly better line through that chicane, though, hoping to get a catapult through the back section. I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a manoeuvre here. He's going to follow him behind, he is. So that's following through into the S section. Will perform better here in these tight corners as he goes just past Jack there. He comes through on the inside of the second part of the S's. And the guys all try to cut that corner a little bit there, but Jack getting the better of him. He's going to try and come through on the inside. There's all the power down. These bank corners the Toyota struggles with. The Jack looks like he lifts there. Again, he's in on the inside for the corner, but not enough to try and make Murphy really take a different line. I recovery on the inside, and power down. So with the tyres, I have the legs here as they come through onto lap, I believe this is lap 15, and Murphy got squirrely there and going around himself. So again, that bank section really struggling, the guy's really struggling coming off that section and trying to keep the car together. Not a bad a recovery save there from Murphy's. He manages the 360. And Dirk Diggler there just behind him. I believe that is, it must be Green Gamer. I think the guy behind him just getting out of the way just as he's coming through behind him. Apologies, I thought that was Merlin just on track behind him. No, it's not. It's his very similar livery but slightly different wing mirrors on it. But we'll stick with these as these guys are currently battling for 6th place. So this is a battle between Jelma and Merlin, still going on here. Been going on, battling on now for the last 2 or 3 laps on and off as Merlin closes up to the back of Jelma. As Jelma goes round again, then literally the car, he's going to get hung after this race. Every time he mentions a guy coming through that last corner, the guy tends to spin. So the only guy I think who's not spun during this race is Snarling Bongo. So we'll just take a look at Snarling Bongo for now. He's got a 5-second lead, so not a massive lead over Little God. Just over 5 seconds. So we'll keep an eye on what that gap is. He's closing down to 5.9. So I'm hoping that Little God can actually catch up to Snarling Bongo and make a dash for the line for it, as it looks like he's got Jack DeMentis coming into the pit and Dirk Diggler, I think it is, and potentially contact there as we can see a little bit of a scuffing up on the front end of the panels, and it looks like Fubby's also in the pits. Is that? It is. I think that's Pro Fubby, so that's a retiree from Pro Fubby there, not managing to get the back end of that car to do what he wants today, unfortunately. As we see Jack just coming out the pits there, so Jack in and out. It looks like he's repaired whatever damage he needed to. He's straight back out again. Dirk Diggler looks like potentially that tyres and fuel he's coming for. Yep, certainly staying there for a little bit longer. And looks like he's just been released there now. As we see Jelma and Merlin coming in the pits. So 2 other pitters now. Doesn't look like that's damage related. That looks like it potentially just his tyres. So maybe a little bit of damage just starting the influx of drivers going now into the pits. Potentially for tyres as Merlin gets away. Just go over to the lingering 4th spot now. We are about halfway gone through our race. Probably just about over that halfway mark as Linga Bazinga looks to make a move on Blankfile. He does indeed. So that's Blankfile dropping away back there. Blankfile really looking like he's struggling as he comes to the pits. So that's the reason for the slow Blankfile into the pits, and potentially getting his tyres and fuel sorted. A little splash and just a quick change back onto the slick tyres, I suspect. And John was just being released from the pits now. So back over again, a battle for 4th spot being the most contested spot on track. As we see another car just ditched on the inside, there is that. Destroyer, it is Destroyer unfortunately. Destroyer really struggling there, so grass tracking it a bit again on the outside. Just go back over to the battle for 4th. And we can see Little God just at the front there. The cameraman just panned into that section. But the cars you've got out on track now is Immortalis with Linga Bazinga just in front. And I believe that is Merlin just behind him, but Merlin may well have been lapped, so not currently battling for position at the moment. And both these guys diving into the pit lanes. That's a crazy entrance to the pit lane, almost an accident there. Not quite track limits breached, and there is an accident there, so Immortalis really not going for the brakes there. That could be potential damage. That may well go to the stewards. That's going to be the first one so far this season of a stewards inquiry in the pit lane. And looks like Linga Bazinga potentially maybe even went for the wrong pit box there. I think he did. So maybe it wasn't Immortalis coming into that section too fast, but more a bit of a lackadaisical approach from Linga Bazinga there, which it might explain it a little bit. And again, we've seen somebody just spin in the background there. It looks like that could well have been Lil God in the background that was spinning there. No, Little God's in the pit, my apologies. It was TC Thrasher, indeed it was. So yes, another spin there on track. Looks like the tyres are definitely wearing thin for the guys that haven't pitted yet. But so far, second, third and fourth place are all still in the pits. Blank file a little way behind now, so it doesn't look like he's going to be coming past any of these. He does indeed, so he up both past them, but on the outside. And will he make it stick? Indeed he does. So he gets past Little God, but he does not get past Linga Bazinga. So he gets the jump there on Little God, and that is third place now for Blackfile. Little God dropping down to fourth spot. And the car's just behind him, fourth and fifth. Little God, Immortalis. And then Murphy coming up in now in sixth spot with a bit of a gap behind those guys. So stuck on board with Blackfile and Little God here in the battle for third spot. Both on fresh tyres, should be here now, so it'll be interesting to see what lap times these guys are getting in. Again, but all the guys going for roughly around about the halfway mark, so I don't expect tyres to be getting much worse towards the back end of this race. Still, the lap times will be putting again, so we'll start to see the 119s and 120s getting hit by the end of the race again. I think currently we should be hoping for 117s, 118s as the guys come round with fresh tyres on. 118s from Blackfile though, certainly knocking around that region. John was sticking in a 119 the previous lap, so as the guys start to get their act together now just after they've come out the pit lane, as we see Green Gaming coming into the pit lane there. Well, Green Gaming currently back of the grid at the moment, so we'll be looking to try and get whatever damage repaired and get that car back out on track as soon as he can. Jump over back to third and fourth spot. If you're just joining us again, you're watching Flux Motorsport TV. It's Thursday night, you're watching the GT1 Championship. This is Race 2, Season 1 of 2021. And currently we are watching not the Dutch guy that you thought at top spot, but he's very closely being followed by the Dutch guy that you might have thought, which is Linga Bazinga. Snell and Bongo and Linga Bazinga currently at 1 and 2 on our grid. Like I said, if you are just joining us though, please hit the like and subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell notification icon. And if you are interested in getting involved in our driving championships, whether that be the GT1 Championship or any of the other 6 championships, whether it's in the EMEA time zone, which is run at UK 8 PM, or whether it's in the American time zone, which is run at 8 PM Eastern Standard Time in the US, just come along to FluxMotorsport.com and hit the driver sign up button, and that'll bring you through to get involved in our championship action. If championships are not your bag, or you don't quite have the availability, or maybe you don't think you're quite good enough for that yet, come and get involved in our community races. It's completely free. All the guys are really helpful. We'll help you with setups and try and get you to be as quick as track as they are, because all these guys want to be racing with the drivers that are the best drivers out there. So if you think that's you, or could be you with a bit of practice, come on down to Flux Motorsport, get yourself involved and get yourself racing with these guys on a weekly basis. So we've got just over 15 minutes to go in our race session here, remaining at Indianapolis. Currently on about lap 21, and we've seen a lot of the grid, not all the grid at this stage pit, but the vast majority of the guys now pulling in for at least a quick splash of, so at least a change of tyres, if not some damage repair with a splash of fuel in there just for good measure. So currently looks like most of our action's been out on third or fourth spot, but battles opened up all over the track really with these guys. 6th and 7th have had their own little battles. Murphy's had his battles with Jack Dementis so far, and Jelma and Merlin, our reserve driver, just coming in from our reserve roster for this race only at this stage. Currently battling Murphy 7th place, and like I said, Murphy with Jack Menzies, who looks like he's currently now dropped all the way back down to 10th spot behind Dirk Diggler. But 4th being our most contested position on track, currently being fought for by Blank File and Rule God, both in the Panausis. A recent switch, I believe, over there for Blank File. Blank File's probably been doing a little bit of fishing, I think, for setup help. And Steve may well be kicking himself after this race if Blank File pulls the number on him. Can you imagine if that was the same setup? Oh, the horror. As we get, anyway, we take a look over to Murphy now. Murphy getting a little bit lateral there on the straight, so potentially he might be losing some heat in some of the tyres there as he tries to wiggle the car just to try and get some heat back into that front right tyre. But another front left's burning up here. But would have thought it would have been not really a circuit where the tyres started to underheat on the dry track, potentially on the wets, on the ice, but on the dry there should be enough lateral G's on this track to keep the tyres in optimum range. Murphy currently sat at in 6th spot, almost not making it into this qualifying session into this race session due to technical difficulties in qualifying. Did manage to set a lap in, and after just one minor spin that I think he's had earlier on, currently coming up in 6th place, with Merlin just behind him. A little flash there from Murphy. Like I said, Merlin's had his own battles here today. It's not been a bad shot here for 6th spot for Merlin as reserve driver, showing what kind of calibre and quality that he's got, and hopefully an indication of the kind of calibre and quality we've got throughout our reserve roster. I know the guys are backing up left, right and centre to get into some of our championships, so the places really are quite sought after. Murphy covering the inside line. I don't think that's a move over, but he certainly is covering the inside line there, and does indeed let Merlin go through. So Murphy just recognising that Merlin coming through with a bit of pace there, and not wanting to burn his tyres up, just letting Merlin have that position, hoping that he can sit in the draft behind him and just take advantage from it. If you do head over to Flux Motorsport, if you do want to get involved in our action, if you are looking to do some of our community races, if not the championship races, and you do like the service that we provide, don't forget to hit the donate button on the website, or just head over to fluxmotorsport.com/donate. All your donations are much appreciated, and I'll go straight back into the community in order to make the services, racing, and what you see here more available and better for the guys that want to race it. So anything you can do in order to make that a better experience, again, would be much appreciated. Flux Motorsport is a registered non-profit, so we can guarantee that your monies are put to good causes. Looks like we've got a battle between Murphy and Jalma now closing up, so Murphy looks like again just moving aside there and letting both these guys through without too much of an issue, not putting up a fight, certainly not taking his foot off too much either. So it looks like potential tyres there for Murphy just getting the better of him. Murphy might be trying to make this race last with one set of tyres. I don't think Murphy's pitted just yet. And Green Gaming back in the pits for a second time? I believe it is. Green Gaming in the pits for a second time there, potentially for damage. And another little flash of lights there from Murphy as he seems to be letting Jack through. Murphy does indeed. I think he's really struggling with that car though, as we see the Toyota's just come through. It was indeed Jack Demez just coming down the pit straight, so Jack coming through to unlap himself by the looks of it though. No objections from Murphy. Battle still going on even towards the back of our grid here with just over 10 minutes left in this race. Javaliva coming through the last turn now. Looks like he's keeping it together there, so we know the Toyotas can struggle through that turn there. Just coming up onto the back of Destroyer. Both these guys put in similar lap times in the previous lap, but 122 and 123 in that lap just there, so a good couple of seconds difference between surviving, but I think what we could see is Survivor just push it a little bit too hard. That Toyota allows you to push it a little bit hard before she breaks away from you. Just lulls you into a false sense of security, and you see him just getting a bit squiggly there and taking the grass on the inside. As we saw some crazy action in the background. I don't know if that was Linda Bazinga. It did look like a black and multicoloured logo there of Linda Bazinga just going crazy in the background, but I believe it is. Yep, so Linda Bazinga just coming to the end of that straight there. Just kicking up a bit of dirt there to get into that corner, so really pushing, but done a really good job to get himself back into first spot here with just 10 minutes left to go on this session. A couple of lengthier pit stops for the guys, really paying, making them pay there. Linda Bazinga all the way up into the top spot. Blank File just coming up, not too far behind him, 3 seconds behind him in second, and that's Steve just behind him. You can see coming around that corner there in third. Immortalis currently in fourth spot. Snarling Bongo dropping all the way back down from first spot to fifth place after his pit stop. Potentially tyre pressures there, as we can see Snarling Bongo getting squirrely there, so whether that's a different car after he's come up the pits. And the Gremlins have got him in the pit lane. It's quite possible, we know it does happen. And the pit crews here, a little bit sporadic at Project Cars too. Sometimes they can really do a number on you with a 1 second pit stop, and sometimes they drop in spanners left, right and centre down the engine bay. So if you are looking for a new race engineer, there is one called Terry that is available from Lecky_2000's garage, whose services has just been made available. So just going over to 12th place on our grid, Giacomo just getting up on Destroyer, and Giacomo trying to take too much of the rubber on the inside there. Again, curse the commentator here. But Survivor's going to take a go in instead. DTV Giacomo not able to do it, but looks like Survivor has, as Destroyer goes round on the outside. And struggles to get it back going, and that's a dangerous rejoin there. Was that TC Thrasher just coming through there? Or was that potentially a Little God just coming through? It was indeed, so Little God will be swearing into his crash helmet there, just as that rejoin from Destroyer came on. Right at the inopportune moment, you saw the front end of that car ditch to the right hand side. It's a good job we still had some traction there. Oh, and lo and behold, what do you know, 7 minutes left, and there's another battle out on track between Merlin and Jelmer. So Merlin and Jelmer really making the most of this action, putting some great battles in today here. Merlin getting the better of Jelmer at this stage, but it looks like Jelmer's catching back up towards the latter parts of this race. Again, you don't quite know what the pit strategies the guys have selected. Just one minor change in one of the tyre pressures compared to no change from the guy in front who's in a similar car can make a world of difference. We'll just see whether Jelmer's managing to return that lap time, 1:19 to a 1:19.8. So there's definitely some pace in Jelmer's car compared to Merlin's. And as we saw, there's some Murphy coming over the long line in 1:26, so really dropping off the pace there, Murphy. Currently managing to maintain 8th, and there's a big gap between him and 9th place, so I think that's been a very tactical decision from Murphy there. Murphy choosing not to pit, sticking out on one set of tyres, and going for a middle of the road option, I think, and that's roughly what we saw. Is the in a race position here with Murphy. It's ended up in a middle of the pack finish for him. Still on board with the battle for 6th place here. Merlin, the green and gold livery in front, white and yellow livery from Jelmer in the background in Motor Ring 1. Both with the distinctive red wing mirrors on here. Both of them obviously fashion victims in the GT1s. Mercedes being the most popular choice here. Jelmer getting right up the back of him now, so definitely getting the benefit of that draft Destroyer in the pits that we saw just coming through there. But sticking on board here with the Jelmer and Merlin. Merlin got the inside line. It looks like he's got his nose just in front as well. Yep, Jelmer just backing off there to try and get the cut back. Not able to get the power down off the initial run through. Not enough of the track there to really get the car to open up. But there is just here coming into this what is really a triple right hand corner. And Gielma hoping to get the run there. Does take a slightly better entrance to it, more speed, but not able to get the line due to that. That might be track limits breach there from Gielma, just as we see him going into that. 5 minutes, just over 5 minutes left of our session here, as Gielma puts a great manoeuvre down the inside, heavy in the braking zone, and he's managed to get through into 6th spot now. His lap times were suggesting that he was actually pushing for that, and I think that might be it for Gielma. I think he might have done the hard work now just to get him into 6th spot, and I think he's going to keep that now. A little bit too far back from Sterling Bongo in front. Sterling Bongo, I think he's just got the back marker, sorry, just coming up behind him there. I believe that's TTV, sorry, and Survivor just in the background there. Which it is, so Survivor actually and TTV battling for position just behind. Just coming into the S section, both of them taking a little bit too much of the rubber though. Not actually causing too much upset. Car can get really out of shape when you do that. You think about the inside, late on the brakes there. And Giacomo doing exactly the same. That's going to allow Survivors to try and get a bit of a run on him. And just as we see these guys battling, we're seeing Little God set and catch up to Blackfowl now, so just less than a second and a half showing up on that timing board. Not quite enough for them to put a manoeuvre on him here, so we'll stick back over with TTV Giacomo and Survivor, or Best Gamer if you know him out on the PlayStation. Not able to get the move done so far. I think he's struggling to get the power down out the corners, Best Gamer or Survivor here, and that is going to be collateral damage there for Survivor. And a lovely little power to get the car back into the right direction, but he's going to be front end damage there. And Giacomo really struggling in this race, so not able to get the panels to behave, as we see that Jack de Menzies just coming up behind him. Sorry, it is not Jack de Menzies. I believe it could well be Green Gaming. It is Green Gaming. Sorry, it's Green Gaming just coming up behind him, so potentially we'll have a three-way battle for 12th spot here. We have lost a couple of drivers already due to drivers retiring a little bit early from the race, so for these guys to form at the last three here, not quite a battle yet on grid at the moment, and whether that damage that they've just picked up there is going to allow Green Gaming. It looks like he's got his own substantial damage, that's all to himself. Tries to put a manoeuvre, and that's actually just for a back marker there. As Merlin comes through, and the guys also get out of the way for Merlin coming through the second Toyota. So it does look like he's lost Gielma now. Yeah, Gielma just coming through a little bit, couple of seconds behind him, so Merlin doing the better for him now, getting that car back into 6th spot. Gielma not managing to get away as suspected. The back marker's potentially causing a couple of issues here. Just a minute or two left or so in our race session. Lingo Bazinga currently out front with 5 seconds in the lead. Can't see Blackfire catching him up there. Potentially we might see Stite make a manoeuvre and try and make the jump back down from 3rd spot. And Lingo Bazinga not having the best start to this race, but I think the speed and quality that our champion of the GT1's got has just shone through here again at Indy Road Course, so he doesn't even need a good start to the race. He just needs a decent run. He needs to get his head down, let the nerves stop bothering him. I think that's what was really the upset at the beginning. It was nothing more than just a few start of the race jitters. So I think he might get one more lap after this lap. He'll have to complete just one more, so this will be the penultimate lap for Lingo Bazinga, I believe. Blackfire currently sat in 2nd, so Little God not managing to catch that gap back up. If anything, I think he's possibly backed off a little bit now. Tried to give himself a little bit of breathing space just for the last couple of minutes of this race. Make sure that bring that car home in one piece with no spins, no real haphazards or anything to catch him out. Stay off the bumps, and just try and have an easy finish to this race. Immortalis coming up in 4th behind him. I think that will be our 1, 2, 3 grid for you, with Immortalis just coming up behind them. Stay on board with Linger as he's just coming over the line. That will be just another lap to go, I think. So final lap now for Linger Bazinga. Merlin's still quite a way ahead of Jelma. Jelma looks like that gap's increased even further, so potentially even more spins, but certainly not enough for Murphy to try and make a manoeuvre and catch back up to it from 8th spot. So Snelling, Merlin 7th and 8th by the looks of it. Dirk Diggler coming back up, they're making another position on Jack, so it looks like Dirk Diggler will get 9th ahead of Jack Dementes. Survivor looks like he's going to get the better of Giacomo after all, and Destroyer come out in 11th spot, Giacomo in 12th. And is that Sterling Bongo in the pits? If we had a late pit stop here from Sterling Bongo, that's got to be fuel. And that is going to allow Merlin to come past. Jelma potentially to come past as well. We'll see whether that allows Murphy to come past. We'll see how long the pit stop is here, but I suspect no, that's longer than fuel. That's obviously he's coming for damage though. Oh, that's a real shame for Sterling Bongo. That's really going to affect his result though. It wasn't too long in the pits, but I think that could well be a retire from Sterling Bongo. He's really struggling to get the car going there as he's waiting for the line to finish. So that is Linger Bazinga for the win as he comes across the line. Blankfire will come just behind him in 2nd, as we saw Sterling Bongo there just getting across the line as well. Little Godsteer with the flash. There he will come in 2nd place. Great finish there from Steve. Blankfire finishing just ahead of him in 3rd, but not ahead actually on grid. And Immortalis looks like he will take that ahead of penalties. So looks like Blackfire's been hit with quite a severe lot of penalties here for the race. So that's moved Immortalis up to 3rd spot. So a podium finish there for Immortalis. Merlin will come around the last corner for the last time and take 5th spot. A great drive from our reserve driver there, and swerving all over the road, showboating a little bit, but fantastic drive for our reserve driver there for his first race out. Jelma coming a little bit worse off in that battle, but a great race between these two, some great viewing and some great action out on track. Snelling Bongo, obviously, as we know, has already come across the line. Murphy just behind him in 8th place, Dirk Diggler obviously in 9th place, Jack Demendez 10th, Survivor 11th, TTV Giacomo 12th, Destroyer 13th, Green Gaming 14th, and like I said, we have had a couple of retires here. So that is what our grid looks like for our end of race 2 here at Indy Road Course, or the old Brickyard as they call it. A very cold day at the old Brickyard and some eventful action out on track, lots of spins and a 30-second penalty there for Blankfile. So that is definitely affected him there. What a shame for Blankfile. With a 30-second penalty, did all that work to get up into 3rd spot and just losing out there. So we'll see whether we get a steward's inquiry, which we know those can get overturned if the race director has given too harsh of a decision. The stewards do not agree with it. That can be overturned. And it looks like a 20-second penalty from Green Gaming as well. Yeah, but no other real change to the order of our grid there. And like we said, Pro Fubby and Green Gaming not managing to finish that race out there with the DNF. So that is it from us on the GT1 race at Indianapolis. Don't forget to join us for our race in the GTE Championship at 8 PM Eastern Standard Time on Friday night or Saturday morning. At 1 AM it is in the UK time. Tune in to Flux Motorsport TV for all that action. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, like I said, if you have like this. And please head over onto Flux Motorsport where you can find out more about us, get involved in the action, and where you can donate and try and help the cause. But from your host, Lecky 2000 tonight, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks very much for joining us. And we hope to bring you just the same amount of action again next week. But until then, we'll see you next time. Thanks very much.